If you've hit media and you're wondering why you're working so hard, spending so much, and yet saving so little, you're not alone. In today's episode, we want to walk through how to do a simple, clear budget audit, because we want to uncover where the money is actually going and get to spot those sneaky spending leaks, and most importantly, how we can be able to bring the whole family into this conversation in a way that makes sense for every age group. So whether you're a parent or you are a young adult who's just trying to adult, and you want to learn how to manage your cash the best way possible, today's episode is packed with practical tools and mindset shifts that will help you reset with clarity. This might just be the breakthrough your household has been needing, so don't go away. Hey there, family. Welcome back to the Finance4Families Podcast, where we talk money in a way that brings families together. I'm your host, Linda Mack, and I like to think of myself as that fire that is igniting those much-needed family conversations on finances. Today we are asking, where did the money go? Because life is expensive. And in Kenya right now, when you think about school fees, food inflation, fuel costs, it's getting harder and harder for families to stay on top of their finances. Statistics show that the average Kenyan household spends over 60% of the income on food, rent, and transport alone. This, you can see, leaves very little for savings, for investing, and for any emergencies that may occur. That's why a media family budget audit is very, very important, because it's our chance as families to be able to pause and really see where is our money going and is it where our values are. Basically, what a budget audit is just taking time to review our household's financial plan. We are looking, where is the money coming from and where is the money going? And it's very important to do this periodically. It helps us as families to ensure that we're not spending money that we don't have, because that means we end up accumulating debt, which we would not want to. It also forces us as families to take control of our spending habits, because through it, we are able to identify areas that we are spending more than necessary, and prompts us to rethink our financial priorities. Again, budget audit will help us to be able to keep it up to date with our current situation. Maybe at the beginning when you started the budget, we were only two of us, but now we have a bundle of joy about to join the family. So maybe you got a promotion, so you've gotten a bit more money, or maybe you decided to go into business either out of choice or out of circumstance. Maybe the company that you were in decided to restructure, and now you had to think of what else to be able to do. So all these are normal life changes, and when we take time to do a budget audit, we're able to now reflect these new changes. I think from this we can see that a budget audit is really about awareness, and we need to be able to take time and do this budget audit in our house. How do we do that? For me, the first step would be getting to understand our incoming cash and our outgoing, that is our expenses. So we have to see how much money is coming in and how much money is going out. If we created this budget in January and we've been trying to follow it through, it's getting to look at our statements, and this is all of them, whether it is your bank statement, it's your M-Pesa statement. If you've been very good at tracking your spending, it's now bringing all those together and looking to see, so how much money has been coming in and how much money has been going out. And let me tell you, out of experience, you'd be very surprised how much disappears in small bits. 200 here, 600 bob there, but you only get to bring them to light when you pull out all these records. Then second, once we have the records with us, it's to be able now to break it down into three main things. One, we're looking at the needs. So how much have we been spending on food, on rent, on school fees? These are things that we cannot do without. Then the second category would be on wants. All the things that, yes, we need them, but we don't really have to have them. Then the third one would be on the leaks. These leaks are those things that you just did out of the whim of it. You bought something, maybe you were late in paying for something, so you had to pay a penalty. There are those subscriptions sometimes that you have. When you, let me tell you, when you get those 15-day free trials, but you've given your card details and they send you a reminder on, is it the 10th day and the 13th day, and then on the 15th day they bill you, and maybe you just wanted to test it out, but you've not even tested it out. Yeah, those are the leaks I'm talking about. And I remember, like, for me, what we had done at home is when the kids are on holiday, we normally pay for the streaming services to keep them busy, or at least to keep all of us. So we have a variety of movies that we can watch from different platforms. But then they went back to school and I forgot to cancel. So we got charged. I felt very bad. So those are some of the things. Those are some of the leaks that we are able to identify when you do a budget audit. So once we have the statements, we have categorized them, whether as needs or wants or leaks. The third step is actually now to compare them with your actual budget. So that from this, you're able to see, is my budget aspirational or is it realistic? And through that, you're able to identify these gaps. Now, as we're identifying these gaps, remember, this is not a solo project. Just because maybe I'm the one who does the bill payments, follow up to just make sure on top of things, shopping is done in the house, does not mean I'm the only one who's going to do this budget audit. We need to involve the whole family. It's not a parent's only job, because money conversations are healthiest when every member of the family plays a part. And when I say every member, I mean even the kids. So I thought, let me just take you through how I think even the young ones can be incorporated in this family budget audit. We look at the younger ones up until maybe age 10. This is the age where best would be to ask them questions, because you would be very surprised some of the answers you'll get from these young ones. Just casually during the conversations, ask, what's that one thing you feel like we are spending so much money? And they will tell you. I'll tell you, my son told me once, why do we buy juice and we have water? And I was like, oh, that's nice. So maybe you can drink water. But he meant, no, we can keep the juice, the water we can do without. But it's those things, when you involve them, ask them those questions, they're likely to pick out something that you can actually think through and say, oh yeah, by the way, this is something that we are. For me, I was like, okay, then that means we just need to reduce that juice budget and encourage more water drinking. It's actually healthier, but they do come up with very good ideas. For the teenagers, it's also just involving them in getting to categorize and making just simple summaries for the budget. Give them a challenge. If we were to reduce our budget by maybe 1,000 or 2,000 shillings for this month, what do you think we should cut down on? And they will look at maybe just the basic expenses that you go through, and they will be able to give ideas. Oh, we can do without this we can make at home instead of buying, all those things. For us, the adults in the family, the husband, the wife, it's just to be able to ensure that you are doing this together. You are not blaming each other, and you're also asking yourself critically, do where we spend our money reflect the values that we want to uphold as a family? What goals did we come up with? Maybe just the two of us as a couple that we feel like they have silently died. And are they important? Do we want to revive and keep at them? Or why do we want to maybe to pack them off up until a later date? Those are conversations that you keep having. And I think from this we can see, the more we involve every member of the family, it becomes a shared task to be able to ensure that whatever it is we are spending our money on not only reflects our values, but also brings us together in a way that makes us feel like we are all responsible for ensuring that we keep to this budget. It makes the parents accountable, because you don't want to answer some very tough questions from the young ones. It makes the young ones aware that this is what we are working with, and they will adjust accordingly. And we find ourselves just connecting in a different level as a family, because the goal of doing a family budget audit is really to just get everyone in the family more equipped, more empowered, and in control again. Once we've identified these gaps, whether it's we've seen, or maybe we're just overspending on food, we have very many impulse buys, or those forgotten subscriptions like some of us, then we start looking at ways of resetting. And we don't have to wait up until January when we're doing another yearly budget to do that. We can start now in July. So the first thing is to start by rebuilding our budget based on our actual spending, not what we had hoped we would be spending, because now we are doing this audit and we are being honest. If our fuel costs is higher than expected, or maybe those school contributions keep cropping up, let's include them properly in the budget. This is how you move from a theoretical budget to a realistic one. And then once we have looked at those gaps and we've included, we're making our budget more realistic going forward, we have to then set caps on categories that tend to leak. So if takeout has been that silent leak, we just say, you know what, we have to agree. We can do 2 takeouts a month, or if it's those subscriptions, then you'd say, okay, fine, we will stick to this one. The family agrees which one. Setting those caps will give us a boundary and help everyone to become more mindful. And finally, another important thing I found very useful to help with the whole budget audit and actually keeping to the budget in itself is adding a visible family savings target. So not something huge. Can we every month set aside 1,000 shillings towards a shared family goal at the end of the year? Maybe we just want to do something together. It will cost us 1,000 shillings. We want to do it maybe as the holidays are setting in, which is December. We can set out to save 500 or 1,000. Now this motivates the whole family because this is a shared goal, and we can have it visible somewhere, or every other time discuss where we've reached. We are able to track it. Let me share a few budgeting audit mistakes that we can avoid as individuals, as families. One of the biggest mistakes families make when doing a budget audit is doing it alone. So that person, that family member who's the one who handles the expenses and all that, is the only one who's quietly crunching those numbers. The others are unaware, the kids don't know, because money only works better for us when we are all talking about it. Let's not do it in isolation. Let's make it a conversation. And we have discussed how we can be able to involve every member of the family, the different age groups, of course, age appropriate. The other tip for me would be, don't just focus on the spending, but track what's actually working too. Sometimes we always look at what's not working and dwell so much on it that we don't take time to appreciate what is working. Maybe we've consistently paid rent on time, we have reduced on impulse buys, or we are doing more home lunch, trying to make more stuff for ourselves at home, and that's reduced our spending. Let's take that as proof of progress and be able to acknowledge it and celebrate. And last tip would be, let's not expect perfection. Let's just aim for progress, because we've said a budget is a tool. It's not about getting everything right, even with this audit, because we do not know what is coming up tomorrow. We are doing the audit, but we are also leaving room for learning, for adjusting. All we need to do is we have to make sure we stay on the same page as a family, because when money stops being a secret and starts being a shared conversation, we create a space in our families for growth and better habits for every member of the family. So let this episode be our gentle reminder that our family's financial health is not just about how much money is coming into the family, how much money we have as a family, but it's about how intentionally we pay attention to how we are spending that money and how we are growing that money. I like this quote, which says, budget is like a mirror. And the good news is you can always adjust the reflection. And I think it just sums up today's episode. That's it for today, family. Again, the Finance4Families podcast is here to ignite open, honest conversations about money and investing in our families. Let's get talking and empower each other for a better financial future. Thank you, and see you on the next episode.